Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is November the 2nd, 2025. Hopefully, this also finds you well, in good spirits and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. It's been a Sunday. It's been a fun day. Overall, the day has been nice. It's been chill. It's been pretty relaxed. Let's see. Starting from last night, I went to bed a little bit later because the whole nap. But I still, was able to wake up pretty early, which was nice. Got to the grocery store early, which was really nice. Just because a lot less people, just much more in and out experience, which I much prefer. Got home, got ready for the gym. Gym was good. Once again, not as busy on the weekends. So Saturday, Sunday was really nice, and today was just really chill. Got through all my machines, all my workouts, all my cardio, so that was good. Came home, relaxed a little bit, and here we are, ready to do some yapping about some news. So yeah, that's been my day. I guess throughout, I've been watching some Twitch TV, watching some Magic the Gathering card tournaments and stuff. So that's been cool. Been doing that, throughout the weekend. So yeah, it's been nice. It's been really chill. So it was cool that I got a really busy Friday, and then just more or less got to relax and work out and do my podcast stuff. It's a very classico kind of weekend. But anyway, let's go ahead and do our startup, and let's get into some news. Whew. We'll say it's a bit gloomy, just in terms of overcast weather, pretty cold, but not too bad. I'll take it for a fall for sure. All right, especially for a fall day where I was mostly indoors. So all right, first story comes from NPR. U.S. carries out new strike in Caribbean, killing three alleged drug smugglers. The U.S. military has carried out another lethal strike on alleged drug smugglers in the Caribbean Sea, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth announced Saturday. Hegseth, in a social media posting, said the vessel was operated by a U.S. designated terrorist organization, but did not name which group was targeted. He said three people were killed in the strike. It's at least the 15th such strike carried out by the U.S. military in the Caribbean or Eastern Pacific Sea, or Pacific, since early September. And then I'll just go to this highlighted portion. The U.S. military has now killed at least 64 people in the strikes. So, yeah, bit of an update on the boat watch there, starting off. Let's move on to our next story, coming from the Associated Press. Video shows immigration agent punching restrained man after car collision turns into confrontation. Police in a Chicago suburb are collecting videos and other evidence to send to the Illinois Attorney General's office after a car crash involving a U.S. Border Patrol vehicle led to a violent arrest caught on video showing an agent repeatedly punching a man in the head while pinned to the ground. Immigration agents arrested three people after a sedan collided with the rear of the U.S. Border Patrol vehicle around noon Friday in the city of Evanston. The episode drew a crowd of onlookers and quickly escalated. Videos posted to social media show some in the crowd appearing to try to interfere with the arrest. Federal agents are seen at times deploying pepper spray, punching a man who approaches the officers and pointing a gun in the direction of another woman who opened the agent's vehicle door, where a detainee had been placed. Federal agents have been spreading throughout Evanston in recent days as part of President Donald Trump's immigration enforcement activities in the Chicago region. In response, some Evanston community members have set up rapid response teams, organizing to warn residents when federal agents are spotted and working to slow the agents as they travel through the region. One agent who was restraining a man on the ground Friday appeared to punch him in the head as it was pressed against the asphalt. The Department of Homeland Security later said the officer delivered defensive strikes after the man grabbed the agent's genitals and squeezed. Some witnesses claimed online that the agents caused the crash by suddenly braking in front of the sedan, though federal officials disputed that account. City leaders swiftly condemned the agents' actions. In a news conference shortly after the episode, Mayor Daniel Bliss said immigration agents had beaten people up and abducted them. It is an outrage, Bliss said. Our message for ICE is simple. Get the hell out of Evanston. The Department of Homeland Security said in a statement that the agents were being aggressively tailgated and the sedan hit them as they tried to make a U-turn. A hostile crowd then surrounded agents in their vehicle, verbally abusing and spitting on them, the agency said. One physically assaulted a Border Patrol agent and kicked an agent as he was being arrested. He grabbed the agent's genitals and squeezed them. The agent delivered several defensive strikes to free himself. The mayor has urged more people to join the rapid response team, and city officials have pressed ordinances declaring city property to be no ICE zones. This week, the Evanston Police Department began sending a supervisor to any reported immigration enforcement scene to document what happens and collect evidence for the Illinois Attorney General Civil Rights Division, Police Commander Ryan Glue said. Glue said officers received calls from both federal agents and bystanders. A supervisor arrived after the arrests were made, and several people were treated by paramedics for exposure to pepper spray. When we responded to those efforts were those efforts were focused on stabilizing the situation and preventing further conflict between ICE agents and community members, he said. Ali Herned, a social worker at Chute Middle School, was part of the crowd that formed after the collision. It was awful. There were ICE agents and CBP agents pointing guns at community members, spraying pepper spray in the face of community members. She said at the news conference. This was terrifying to community members. Harnett said it was horrifying to a student who happened to be in a car and witnessed it. It is not okay. So, right up top, obviously, I got to say, hey, you shouldn't go and do any kind of violence, to any kind of opposition. If what is being said by ICE is saying, hey, they attacked us and harangued us, we were just defending ourselves. Like, okay, if that narrative is 100% real, obviously, yeah, you shouldn't go about that. But you can understand why people are completely fed up with having to go day in and day out of being oppressed by this auxiliary force that gets to run through your city and kidnap whoever the fuck they want just because they suspect you of not being a American citizen. You're not American enough, apparently. And they just pull your card that day. And yeah, people are sick of seeing that happen, and they're getting up and they're doing something. I do think that something like this rapid response team, I think that is a good thing. I think that is a cool thing, that it is something that seems to be pretty community led, and something like the mayor is supporting that. I think that is a good thing. But yeah, but to get back to ICE's narrative, do I believe it 100%? No, I fucking don't. It's really hard to trust them. And essentially they say, well, all of this is happening. We have to escalate because you have people saying you're resist ICE and you guys got to stop saying that. It's like, oh, so we just gotta let you guys just run through our towns and our cities and just take people, take loved ones and stuff and just say, oh, well, these are criminals, so we just get to do that. You got to let us. That's the law. That's the way this works. So yeah, I'm not surprised to fucking see this shit. And yeah, I just wanted to, go ahead and cover that for the second story for the day. Let's move on though to our next story from Al Jazeera. No Christian genocide in Nigeria government says after, let me read that back, my bad. No Christian genocide in Nigeria. Government says after Trump's threats. That was a little mouthful. Nigeria has said it would welcome assistance from the United States in fighting armed groups as long as its territorial integrity is respected after U.S. President Donald Trump threatened military action in the West African country over what he claimed was the persecution of Christians there. In a social media post on Saturday, Trump said he had asked the U.S. Department of Defense to prepare for a possible fast military action in Nigeria if Africa's most populous country fails to crack down on the killing of Christians. I shudder a giggle there because it's like, what the fuck is this dude talking about? He'll just like have a thought and just go, I'm just gonna hop on True Social and just talk my shit, which I know is not fucking new, but it's like, what do you mean you're gonna talk about military action and just like pretty much a random country? Like, bro, this just popped into your head. It's like, no, I mean, I just probably saw something on Fox News, and you know, it'd be good. This is gonna be good numbers. Like, I really feel like that's more or less the code of what he's doing here, because it's like, brother, you're pulling this shit out of thin air. Like, this is vapor. But you know, now he's talking about it, so now we got to dig into it. We are not proud of the security situation that we are passing through, but to go with the narrative that only Christians are targeted, no, it's not true. There's no Christian genocide in Nigeria. Kiembe Imotumi Mbifini, or I'm totally fucking his name up, Mbiemfa, sure, Nigeria's Foreign Affairs Ministry spokesman, told Al Jazeera on Sunday. We've continuously made our point clear that we acknowledge the fact that there are killings that have taken place in Nigeria, but those killings were not restricted to Christians alone. So yeah, there's a lot of, you know, you can say terrorist activity. Boko Haram is very active. They are targeting and attacking every day. So yes, people are being killed. But to sit there and say, oh, these are Christian killings and we got to do something about it is... because what, we're the great Christian nation of the US of A, so that's our job. Like, it's just so weird. It just feels like some kind of medieval thing, you know, like I don't know, but I guess this is something that he feels like making a big stink about this is good for his base. It also is a potential excuse for him to at will say, hey, either we're going to do some military invasion or we're going to cut aid. We're going to do whatever we feel is necessary, what is right, so that we can quote unquote correct this problem, this thing that more or less we're just like, we're making it up. But yeah, that's just what popped off on Saturday, and now we're talking about it today. So, you know, that's how it goes in the Trumpverse, I guess. But yeah, I just figured, you know, hey, we'll spotlight that. We might come back to that in the future. At least it gives us a little bit of a chance to, you know, talk about Nigeria a little bit. You know, there's more details here, but for the sake of time, we're just going to go ahead and mosey on to our last story of the day. And we are going to be talking about some bad pasta. But let's go ahead and take our last break, and we'll close it out. Oh, okie dokie. Hold on, let me refresh this page. All right, from Local 12. 7 dead, 27 sick from recalled pasta meals sold at major grocery chains. The listeria outbreak tied to prepared pasta meals has expanded, with the FDA reporting 2 additional deaths and 7 new illnesses. In total, the outbreak across 18 states has sickened 27 people and caused 6 deaths and 1 fetal loss. The recalled ready-to-eat pasta salads and prepared meals were supplied by Nate's Fine Foods and sold at major grocery chains nationwide, including Trader Joe's, Sprouts, Farmers Market, Kroger, and Walmart. Now, I believe we had talked about pasta salads recently, but this does look like it's been expanded to, like, you got something like Scott and John's, shrimp scampi with linguine. I know in the thumbnail I got this Trader Joe's Cajun style pasta. It's like blackened chicken breast, fettuccine alfredo. Now I got that would get me. I would be I might be at risk for something like that. It looks pretty good. And then they got this market side linguine. It's got like some beef, like meatballs. I'm fucking with that, and some marinara sauce. I feel like it doesn't look good in the package, doesn't look great, but I feel like if I put that out, put that on a plate, put that in a bowl or something with some bread, that'd be mad smashable. But then, potentially listeria. But anyway, hopefully if you have any of these products, you're tossing them, you're getting your refund or something like that, getting some kind of exchange. You know the deal. Buyer beware. But yeah, that's what we're closing out with for today. No shilling. It's Sunday. So thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for being a friend. And hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.